We'll put a boot in your ass and say American.
This is a story about people who want the world run their way, the American way.
American preeminence is a fact.
People who believe American power is there to be used.
We're very unabashed about using American force.
Who are talking about a new world war.
They will say, "You make us very nervous." And our response should be, "Good."
Not in our name!
And who scare the hell out of people.
If we do not stop them now, they're going to continue with this war all over the world.
Peace right now!
Sometimes they are really terrifying in the way they think, the way they would like to shape the world.
It's like a gang, you know, it's like mafia. They'll take on everyone.
It's a story of people who stick together.
It's real, fundamental love and power.
Okay, guys.
Though to outsiders, they can be a mystery.
How is it that these people, gained such influence so quickly?
They call themselves neoconservatives, right-wing thinkers whose dreams of a new American century have become George Bush's foreign policy.
The President of the United States, on issue after issue, has reflected the thinking of neoconservatives.
What's new about the neocons' thinking? They believe America's military might should promote America's ideals.
American power should be used not just in the defense of American interests, but for the promotion of American principles.
Throughout the war, we were with the neocons in Washington, going behind the scenes.
I'm going to get a monkey to go with it.
Finding out what makes them tick.
I'm a student of Machiavelli. I wrote a book on Machiavelli. And I know the struggle against evil is going to go on forever.
And what the neocons have in store for us now.
We're going to have to bring down a series of regimes who are the sponsors of a network of various terrorist organizations.
Syria,
Saudi Arabia,
Iran,
North Korea,
and then there's Libya.
Tonight, will America's superhawks drag us into more wars against their enemies? Washington, the city where war was planned, awaits the first shots. The deadline to Saddam is about to expire. Outside the White House, a last-minute protest against the war and against the people they claim are pushing it.
Richard Pearl, get out of office. There you go. Richard Pearl, out of office.
Inside the White House, the president and his advisors are debating whether to launch what they call a decapitation strike. They've had an intelligence tip-off. Saddam has been seen in a Baghdad suburb. Nowhere in this city of power is war awaited with more anxiety and enthusiasm than here in 17th Street. On the top 3 floors, the American Enterprise Institute, home to some of the top neoconservative thinkers who sold the president a more aggressive view of America's role in the world, one that's about to be tested in Iraq.
Now, this place really is the ideas factory, the ideological engine room of the Bush administration.
Hello.
Meet neoconservative writer and thinker David Frum. He's a former top Bush speechwriter and an AEI scholar, as they're known. He helped coin the phrase axis of evil, which President Bush used to condemn Iraq, North Korea and Iran as sponsors of terrorism. David Frum left to write a book about a president he says is sometimes ill-informed but makes the right decisions.
President Bush gave the axis of evil speech 13 months, 14 months ago. So this is being done deliberately.
Like everyone in the AEI, David Frum is waiting to hear whether war against the first country in his axis of evil has finally begun.
And when we hear the news later this evening or tomorrow morning, what do you think you're going to feel or think?
I'm going to feel, when I hear that news, I'm going to pray, as we all do, for the success of American arms. I'm going to pray for low casualties on all sides, for the swift overthrow of this dictator. I'm going to feel some fear, of course, because people are in danger and they are in harm's way. But mostly I'm going to feel confidence, because I think the war is just. I think America is going to win. I think the whole West is going to benefit.
You guys, is a full lit. Hey, Rich and
Put him on RAM1, yeah.
My fellow citizens, at this hour, American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations to disarm Iraq, to free its people, and to defend the world from grave danger. On my orders...
The neocons may have helped inspire the war, but they also inspire suspicion in Washington.
They're hawks, and they've had those plans set out for quite a while, I believe.
To me, it seems like there's another agenda that we're not really privy to with all of this, and that is what concerns me most.
Washington's most neocon paper churns out the story. The war's begun, and so perhaps is the neoconservative way of running the world.
You must see this as an important moment for you, that there's something at stake for you neoconservatives here.
Sure. There's a lot at stake. Our ideas are being put to the test. We are aware of the fact that we are influencing the lives of millions of people with our ideas. Our ideas are being tested.
Authorities are bracing for possible flooding problems. Well, if you're wondering how the weather is for U.S. troops in Kuwait and Iraq, we're told that it's hazy.
The next morning, Washington at war. TV news sets a confident tone. Time for a walk on the wild side with ultra-neoconservative Michael Ledeen. He's been called a mysterious ideological adventurer. In the 70s, he was involved in the shadowy world of right-wing Italian politics. In the 80s, his secret meetings with the Israeli government led, inadvertently, he says, to the notorious Iran-Contra affair. Second day of the war, and Michael Ledeen's about to go on TV, talking about more regimes to topple.
This is a conflict between freedom and tyranny. We're fighting tyrants. I believe that if the tyrants are removed, that there'll be a great deal more peace and chances for peace in the Middle East.
And the tyrants, if you can name names.
Iran, Iraq, Syria, and Saudi Arabia are the big four, and then there's Libya. There's a North Korean problem, too, that we'll have to deal with, although that's not directly related to the Middle East, except insofar as North Korea's helped them. You can't solve all problems, I grant that. I mean, I'm a student of Machiavelli. I wrote a book on Machiavelli. And I know the struggle against evil is going to go on forever.
Could you give me a mic check, please?
Yes, this is a mic check.
Post 9/11, Michael Ledeen's shadowy neocon talents are back in favor. He's listened to in the Pentagon, and it seems the White House. The Washington Post recently reported he's an advisor to White House political guru Karl Rove.
Okay, guys. Hello, it's Michael.
In Washington's National Press Center, journalist Jim Loeb's become a neocon anorak, compiling files on them since the 70s, when he realized how influential they could become. Michael Ledeen, a particular source of fascination.
He's supposed to brief the White House as well. Or...
Yeah, people were very surprised to see that of all the people who Karl Rove, his closest advisor, talks to very few people who are knowledgeable in foreign affairs. Very few, like a handful. But one of them is Michael Ledeen. And, you know, that would be cause for sleepless nights for many people, I would think. He is a provocateur, and he's written more than once that the thing he really dislikes about foreign policy establishment is that they prefer stability as opposed to revolution or radical change.